Welcome back to All the Mods 9. I'm Keshem. Okay, we've been going down a long journey of just grind. That's what we've been doing for like a week. But I think it's time to finish it up. And there it is. Everything we should need. Do you want to put it up there, Rice? I already did. Well, I can put it back. My bad. I just stole it all. I can start putting the Unbodium up there, which is going to be the funnest part of it all, I think. Just an outline of these here. I, I think this is how she goes. I don't know. 2, 3. That should be that, and then we just slap the rest of that stuff up there and it'll take off on us. We can pop this off for a second so it's not running. And then she can slap that on there and we can kind of watch it and hope it doesn't just poop out on the floor. Holy wow. A lot of work's gone into this here, so I'm hoping it turns out spectacular. Ooh, doggy. Last few pieces. It's kind of a complicated one. I think that has these two pieces that go there. This one and this one. Yeah, that poisons you. There it is. Now if you throw that cog on there, it should go. Yep. And there it is. Oh, she's all moving. Hopefully we got her right. Otherwise we got to do this over and redo it all again. I haven't touched it since we did that ugly little star feller. So it should be correct. Starting to look like a star. Come on now. Come on, baby. Low and slow. Anticipation is killing me. And that's it. Handled. And she stole the star already. Yoink. And there's our star. We did it. And that's that. And then she can have it because I don't care about it. Went through all that and I don't even care. Okay, I think the second most complicated thing on here was this system here. Is you got to take like these right here, the magentas, magentites, whatever the hell. And then you got to have this and that and the other. You switch these over from being solids to being liquids to where they're both liquids. And you got to eventually put a liquid back in that one. And then you have to stick it over here and you get the resonite because you put some other liquid in here. It's just back and forth between all three of them. Just round and round she goes. I've had to delete I don't know how many times out of that. I don't have anything in there. I think we barely made that. There's 10 in there, and that's still not even enough. What are those? The Bonites? Really? Benonites, dude. No, maybe not. There's a cord across my desk here that is really making it a pain in the ass to type here. Yeah, see, I am flat out. That is the last we had of those. You get those from the Nether, from just mining in the Nether. We did their general items times mined. Yeah, I've mined 101,167 blocks in there, and still just barely had enough of those to make it through the system. It's kind of a complicated process because you got to keep rolling it over, but eventually these, I mean, we've still got some in there right now, but even with that being that low on there on the plutonium, it still puts out a decent RF a tick. I think the biggest setback we had was this down here. This was just low, slow, long, drawn out. I finally just turned it off. I was like, okay, I've had enough, completely enough. Got 43 millibuckets in there with one left in there, and that still just took us barely there. We have one left of these. So we ended up with 1,000 more than we needed millibuckets of it. But this was our biggest setback right here. Kind of blowed a hole in the floor and the wall, blowed it all up. These pipes right here, use these, the Ultimate Mechanical. I'm just in such a habit I didn't even think about it, but I was using the universals with these on there. And although those do work, I put that many on there to see if we can crank it way up high. But if you look at this here, this is what my mistake was. Not that. This was my mistake. I made a wall of these. All of these were just along this wall, and then pumping into all of these up here so I could quit having them all over the sides. That was my mistake because I did not have it all chunk loaded. I didn't have these back two chunk loaded. So when I left this area entirely, it unloaded these, but kept this loaded, and this kept running even though this back portion wasn't. This was still loaded, and kabloom, it blew up. So you gotta make sure you've got it fully in the chunk, plus the water in the chunk. I should have done these sinks different. This needed to be probably another 20 blocks taller. Could have went down another 5 blocks even, and then just had these for the floor, and then these for another. This would have been the floor. This would have been the floor. These would have been the floor of the machine. But this would have been the floor of the ground, and then I could have just ran these off of there, and I didn't even need that many of them, because this stuff here just, I mean, it pumps some water, like a lot of water. But the other thing that was happening to me on here, it kept turning off, and it would do that, and then it would max out on, and then I had to restart it. But what was going on is this cable right here, it was like this would turn itself off, like it would just stop becoming a multi-block and then go right back, like a real quick flash of it. And all of these, because I had these connectors all right here, so it would pop all of these speed upgrades out, and then it would just look like that on there instead of having this little lip on there. So I'd have to put those back on there, put that lip back on there, so I was pushing it through. It was just a mess. I think the biggest hatred I have is this right here. I should have pumped up to this like I was going to. Had this turned this direction and then pumped straight back down. And then did all that other stuff here. And I should have done that back there in the, like that back corner back there. However, we lived, we learned. This was pretty awesome watching this. This eventually I was able to get a lot of, I mean, I was getting a lot of power out of that. Pretty close to 1 million, if not 1 million, because I had this set to like 50. something like that. I think 50 is about where we can still handle 50 on this. Maybe it was 65 or so. But yeah, we can definitely handle that much. And it doesn't really like to show it because it's not, I mean, it's kicking through in here. It's slowly going to. But that's kind of how we had it set. MFE 2.82 GFE. It's probably charging everything up, but yeah, we're able to produce over 1 million with this. So I mean, it ended up being better than I thought it was going to be. It ended up being pretty cool. However, I mean, like, you get way, way, way more of this than anything just to make these. But I mean, we got it all done. I think we handled it fairly well. Not a fan of the rituals at all, and this pack is full of them. Probably turn all that off now. We've went through here. We automated the potions. I spent an entire day, I think 14 to 15 hours or more, maybe 16 hours, pretty close to 16 hours. Just getting everything automated, going through this. Rice helped me with this here. Got that all the way to tier 3. Sucked the soul out of a whole bunch of soul sand. I should have a bunch of soulless sand lying around because I was doing most of that on the floor. Yeah. Ended up needing at least 64 blocks plus anything else we used in the nether on that. These little bad boys, they just kind of set them and forget them, huh? Most of this stuff just became, like all of this, just became obsolete as soon as we were done using it. This was fine, just stuffing everything into here, and it just kind of pooped right out like we figured it would. I just ended up sticking 8 of them on there, on this pipe, just to make sure that we'd hit that 5, and we ended up going way past that 5. This was a learning curve on here, but it's really not that hard at all. It's easier than I thought it was going to be. But we do have it up quite a ways there. What do we got here? I mean, we didn't max everything out on this. Oh, you can't even enchant that. That's some shit right there, ain't it? I don't want... Yeah, I guess, whatever. We didn't end up taking it all the way through. You can still add more stuff to it, and then you'll be able to see the enchants on it. But for the most part, it does alright. Sweeping Edge 5, stuff like that, looting 4. I mean, it did really well with a lot of this. I ended up putting Fortune 7, or 6, I mean, Efficiency 6. That I did all this manually the hard way without ever even making this, and I should have made this right out the gate. It was pretty neat doing all that kind of stuff. I didn't do a video on a lot of that because some of it I've never done, so I kind of needed to learn how to do it. This I didn't do a video. I streamed making this because I've done a reactor before, but I've never done the fluidizer and this reprocessing stuff, controller stuff. I've never done that stuff on any of this, so it's not really that bad either. You'll take this right here and you'll just process it through into whatever you need. I mean, you can do whatever you want with it, but it'll just kind of break it down. It'll turn it into other fluids on there. It's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Then you just take your tank, put it on there, and then it'll fill up your tank here. You'll put that tank on here, and then you'll stick the items through it. For this, though, I've seen a couple of videos where they're like, oh, they had to use the Yellorium, but it didn't work. I had to end up going with the uranium on this, because you have to stick it inside of here with the plutonium to get your verdarium, however you say that stuff. But that's how you get that through there. You just have to add another port like the solid injector into this. You just have to put that on there. So this basically all I was doing. Bloop. But you have to put another one of those. So I just stuck one right there and put them in both of them, and then it gave me the fluid I need. Take that fluid, bring it over here, stick it on here. Take the ingots back out, put them back in the top. And I kept doing that over and over till we was ready to do that star on there. I've done this once, like one little baby ritual once, trying it out. I didn't like that then either. I needed this guy because you have to have the end stone dust stuff, and he'll give you that if you just take your end stone. Really? I guess I have 182,000 of those. I thought I needed him for that. Apparently I did not. But you can give him some end stone. Are you serious? Basically, you just give him end stone. You just pick it up and set it in there. And then he'll turn it into dust. It's kind of weird. Alright, it's kind of a lot weird. And then I hid the fire up over here for it. Should have put that closer, but you can. And then to get the tree stuff like that, it's pretty easy. It's just what is that? Oh, it was OCC, not OSS. Come on. You just make your saplings, just throw them in the fire, and then you got to eat some of this. It doesn't always work the first time to go into that to be able to see. Yeah, right there. You want that. And then you'll plant it, bone mill it, and break it. If you break it when you're not in this weird sight thing, it won't work. And then you make your different chalks, stuff like that. You can do all kinds of stuff. I could have made the goggles and stuff, but the ritual I needed I was capable of doing without doing all of that stuff. Boop. Crushed end stone. Okay, so I did need crushed because you got to have the crushed end stone to make the chalk. And then you got to have this stuff here, so it's just throw that andesite into the purple's fire, and then it'll give you that. And then you put this through just to turn on my magnet. You just put that right through your regular furnace. I went through and I'd make the recipe for all of these instead of making more of these. I just did a recipe for each one. I did this recipe here because it didn't count it in the quest for some reason. I think it's because when I made it, I just told the machine to make it, and then I left it in here, and then I did the next one, and then when I got to the final product of it, I didn't end up doing any of that stuff. So if I needed it for whichever item, like something like this here, I just leaving them in there. So I had to make the obsidian and the diamond because I never actually put those in my inventory. I just left them in the system. I forgot to take them out. Anyway, I really think this is a really good pack. There's still so much that if I wanted to keep playing this, there is so much more I can do. I think if I was to play it a second time, I would go about it different. I don't think I would have moved in here. I think I'd have found a different. There's another one on here somewhere. I don't know if it's here, but there's another one that I would have done. The factory, I think, is what I named it. If I was to move into one again, I think it'd be this one. Something like this. Just get rid of this little bits of water that's down here, so we don't have weird stuff on here. Get rid of this weird stuff here. But I think this would be the coolest for some of that. I really do. But, I mean, I don't know. That doesn't mean I really would necessarily. But I would probably change it around to where it's a little different. Yeah, I probably wouldn't even make this my habitat. I think what I would have probably done is just taken a simple area that's... Guess it doesn't matter if we're done with it now anyway. I would have just taken a simple basic area like this. Just build my own, like, kind of, let's go back down to here. Where are we at here? We got, still have this up here. I would have probably not stayed there. Our spawn was just so horrible that I didn't really end up liking it. But I would have probably have stuck with something like this. And then taken and... Let's do this instead of that. Not that one. Really? Come on. I would have probably done something like this and had 4 right there. And I don't think I would have went that big. I think I would have just taken it and done. Not you, knock it off. I would have probably have went with... Would you quit doing that? Oh, seriously, you got to do each one at a time? I would have probably done something more like this, maybe even tossed those in right there, and then I would have just loaded these right here, and I'd have left it alone. That way I would have stayed inside of this little grid here, and then I would have done floors up, and then had my shit that was growing up there. I'd have had the next story down would have been something, and then down, down, down. Because that's kind of basically what we did. Well, yeah, that is the house. Good job. Now we got to go to the base. But right here, that's basically what we did here. We got the top floor, which is just the mob farm. Then we have our crafting, stuff like that, little weird ritual things. And then we've got enchanting and set it and forget it stuff, the star assemblies, the machines like this. Then you go down another one, and then we got all this stuff here. All these kinds of set it, use it a couple times here and there, but it's in the way otherwise. And then down off to the side we did this. I would have done this on the same... I would have done this in another dimension if I was to redo it. I'd recommend doing that not in near your base. Just do it in another place. I mean, it's defaulted if you do chunk load it like this. If you have it loaded, it won't blow up. But the amount of space that I ended up needing overall, everywhere I was, I mean, none of it had to be type of a deal. None of it was... Quit doing that. I've got these loaded over here, but I could have built and had those over there. I could have went down... What are we at? We're still at Y level 48. We could have went a long ways further down. And I think that would have been fine. Forgot to come down here and pop those off. Alright, let's get that crap out of the inventory. Put this stuff away. I moved those down because they looked weird glitching through the floor. They looked like some taters. But I think that's pretty well it for this pack. I don't see that there's anything else left going on here. I don't know why we blowed a hole in the floor there and left it that way. But, you know me. I won't notice it. I don't know if this would work. Standing like that? Yeah, it seems like it would still work. I don't know if it would or not. I could cover the holes in the floor that way, though. But I mean, we went a long ways here. Clear back in the day of some of this other stuff. That was a little weird. Found this bad boy, cleared it all out, built little farms, I mean, we did a lot of stuff together here. We learned not to break these and just let them kind of dissipate on their own. Because it does slowly tick down. A little bit ornery. Keep getting raided by weird things. Just waiting for the other one to shoot that one in the face. Apparently I'm going to crash or something there. Oh, nope. It was thinking about it, though. Trying to get that one to shoot that one in the back of the head. Huh, they just don't. If you stick them inside of a boat, they will, though. They'll shoot each other, see? That's fun. Well, I think we've had all the fun we can here. I mean, we've done all kinds of stuff, from stasis chambers to building a little zoo type thing in the house to making that and never doing anything with it, turning the outside of that all to black. But I think that's pretty well good. I think we'll just stick our last weapon down on there, and that's it. We're done. There's our progress throughout the game. Where we started to where we ended up. I never even used that one. But I got it. Never used that one back there either. But we did use these first two for a while. Used that one into that one for quite a while. Used that one for a very short little bit. And then made that bad boy. Completely skipped this one altogether. I don't even know why. Decent weapon. 50 attack damage. Still wasn't as good as this one. I never did make the King of all swords. I decided not to, I guess. I mean, I made the stuff to where I could have done it. I could have set it up to max and all that. I just don't care. I ended up not wanting to. I ended up not really caring at all. But I think we're good with the way it is. Oh, that was the other trick I wanted to talk about really quick on here. For the inscribers, I just basically ran them all through, did it over and over so you can make the singularities. And then what I did is I sat this up right here. Because I ended up crafting a bunch of them before I was smart enough to remember to put the priority on. But I've still got 3 million essence on this. I've got so much essence, it's not even funny. So I just click on here, set the priority to like 30, 25, something like that. I didn't set it on there because after you change that, you have to click set, or it won't do anything. And then you tell the machine, the system, to craft 550,000, whatever you're going to need for your singularity. 256,000. I wanted a couple extras, but that's all I did, is just take and do, let's get rid of that, 256,000. Start, and then it would run in here. But I didn't set, like I said, I didn't set the priority high, so it won't pump anything in there. So 356,000. See, now it's going to pump it into here instead of into the system, and then that'll pump it out into here. And that's it. Just put speed upgrade on that, put another one on that so it's going into 2 different points. And then it'll just whoop right up in there. You'll have another singularity. You got to click this because it'll give you that, and then click that, and that'll give you that. I don't even know what the hell these are for. Matter balls. What's a matter balls? Apparently you need those for a few different things. So that's pretty neat. But that's how you get those. And the singularity. That's pretty easy. I really thought that was going to be a long drawn out process, but it ended up not being at all. So not bad at all. This right here, just like I said, it's only a 64K drive. I still have a bunch of stuff left over on there. Still got a ton of these. Like I said, I just took a stack of each one and ran it through the system, and then I made a bunch of silicone ones, so I'd have a bunch of silicone. I just did 3 stacks of my silicone across there. That's why we're not at 1 million on that anymore. Yep. Not on that anymore. And there it is, still going. It's a little bit slow because of that, but I could possibly just stick this machine just itself directly on there. It'll just pump it in a lot faster. I didn't even try to do that, but I think it'd be pretty neat if I could do that. But yeah, you just tell it to craft that and it'll do that. I mean, we've got tons and tons of redstone. Never did. And then I guess our last final hoorah on this would just be, how much did we end up needing to store? Bam. 49.9 million. I think that's some horse shit. And then we can take that. Yeah, change the priority back to set. And that's pretty much it. Set it and forget it. We were at 50 million a bit ago, so I don't know what happened there. Probably because we were making the singularity there. Made a couple of them. Poop. Ha ha ha. But we were at 50 million. So that's basically the max I ended up needing is 50 million. So I mean, I don't even know. Made that right there intentionally because I didn't put that in there. When we made that maximum one, we just went all the way to it. So yeah, you could get over 1 million storage with that. I mean, you'd need 50 of these, but you could take it to the next level and go right to infinite, which I ended up needing. So I ended up happy with that. We've got almost everything done on here. I never cared to go through all this. Did I just get that weird magic meat? Not consumed when eaten. Sweet. That doesn't work in your backpack, I don't think. But that would have been happy and healthy to have right out the gate. Day one. Welcome. I didn't end up getting all these. We got the star complete, but we didn't complete something else in here. I did this. I had that in my hand for 3 damn days. Felt like. But I probably didn't do a step right in here, or I just skipped a process here or there. It doesn't really matter, but I think it's pretty happy and healthy. We made it through, and I appreciate all the views, all the watch time, and all the good times we've had. I'm not sure what we'll be playing next. I'll look through the old mod list there and see. Maybe we'll go back and play something a little bit older until something a little bit newer comes back out. I have no clue, but I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. But anyway, beat the demon. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!